5 minutes left. 8 of the top-ranked players were gathered in one place on the 4th floor of Kokoro Island's dungeon. The highest ranked among them was Peak Sword, who was 16th on the overall unified rankings. Behind them were 200 elite members of the Silver Knights Guild. It was a spectacular sight, a gathering of users with the combined power to capture a small fortress. However, tension and anxiety filled everyone's face. 4 minutes left. As time counted down, the nervousness of the guild members reached the peak. They were restlessly shaking their legs and biting their nails. Peak Sword gazed around with dark eyes. His hands, which held his sword, were soaked with sweat. I can't calm down. Kokoro Island's dungeon was fully controlled by the Silver Knights Guild, and the boss monster, Helgao, appeared on the 4th floor every 2 weeks. Helgao was stronger than expected and had a variety of patterns, so they had been unable to succeed in any of their 5 attempts so far. During the last month, Peak Sword and the elites of the Silver Knights strengthened their items with money, all with the intention of succeeding next time. They were definitely stronger after all the investments, but those who knew of Helgao's power couldn't garner any confidence. 3 minutes left. After 3 minutes, Helgao would appear, and this place would turn into a sea of fire. Some of them would even get killed just by the flames alone. 2 minutes left. A heat wave started to slowly permeate throughout the room. Shit. Peak Sword wanted to encourage everyone, but he was afraid. He was clearly reminded of the overwhelming appearance of Helgao, the staff-wielding boss monster enshrouded in flames. Are we still lacking the power to defeat him? It might be different if the power of the top 10 rankers were added, but he couldn't help thinking that this expedition would fail with their current strength. However, the guild's best ranker couldn't show his weakness, so Peak Sword endured it. Do it. We can do it. We are strong. Peak Sword steadied his heart and took various buffing potions, with the others following him. It was at this moment that 1 minute left. Intruder. There is an intruder. What? All of the guild members' eyes turned toward the entrance. A young man had entered. It was unusual because he was covered by a cloak with no armor or weapons visible. Did he break through the defensive troops downstairs? Was he a highly trained assassin? No, an assassin wouldn't openly reveal their presence in a place like this. Peak Sword pondered on the name above the head of the black-haired youth. However, no matter how much he searched through his memory, Peak Sword still found it to be an unfamiliar name. He isn't a ranker? Peak Sword glanced at his companions, but they all shook their heads. A non-ranker coming all the way here. Pathetic. Peak Sword came to this conclusion and warned the youth with a frown. This is an area controlled by the Silver Knights Guild. I don't know how you managed to reach this point, but if you don't want to die, go back. The young man ignored Peak Sword's warning and threw off his cloak as he talked to himself. My stealth suddenly disappeared. Was it because I was detected by Helgao? Oh, there were exclamations from every direction. The appearance of armor rapidly being equipped on the body of the youth was quite cool. Despite being made of metal, it seemed to be custom fit for the wearer, and its smooth surface was so reflective it was like a mirror. The armor was an elegant blend of red, black, and gold. The particularly unique point was the 1 meter long tail that stretched from the vicinity of the tailbone. It was sharp like a blade, and amazingly, it was moving on its own. W, what's with that armor? It's terrific. Unique grade? It was the first time they had seen such armor, so the guild members struggled to hide their interest. Peak Sword raised his voice. That isn't important right now. Why aren't you throwing him out right now? Helgao would soon appear. Then nobody would be able to escape from the dungeon. They had to deal with the outsider before that. The moment that the guild members, who were interested in the armor, tried to carry out Peak Sword's order. Ruah! Helgao, the master of Hellfire, has appeared. Helgao's roar has applied fear, chaos, and debilitating effects. Helgao's fire reduces heat resistance by 50%. Fire pillars have reason to cover you. Quack! Hi! Due to the silent flames that surrounded the whole body, half of the guild members either fell into a dying state or burned to the point where they couldn't even be recognized. Barely half of the people standing were able to hang on. Pigsword was surprised at the notification window that popped up. I raised my fire resistance to 86%, but for me to still receive this degree of damage, they will certainly fail again. As Pigsword despaired, he suddenly doubted his eyes. While the others were surrounded by flames, the young man alone was moving forward, moving freely like he wasn't affected. H. How Hyuk? Pigsword fell silent as he witnessed a ridiculous scene. As Helgal ran amok and slaughtered the guild members, the young man pulled out a pickaxe, headed to the wall, and started swinging the pickaxe. 0. Kang, Kang, 0. The young man swung it with good form and complained as he wiped off the sweat. Ugh, hot. Isn't the labor getting more intense? Why does the mineral only appear when the boss mob is present? Based on this, I might have to visit a dragon slayer with my pickaxe. 0. At that moment, a hot wind emerged from the staff that Helga waved and hit the young man. Pigsword expected the young man to receive huge damage and collapse. Yet, unbelievably, the young man only suffered minor injuries. Excuse me, mister, the youth said, stopping his pickaxe for the first time and turning his attention toward Pigsword. He asked with an irate expression, "Why are you just standing there blankly? It's hot now, but it will only just get hotter." 0. What am I seeing now? Pigsword thought. Then he belatedly regained his spirit and asked, "How can you be fine?" 0. The young man replied like it was obvious. "It's the item effect." 0. Chang, Chang, 0. The tail on the young man's armor moved by itself and fought against Helgal's staff. Pigsword couldn't close his mouth as he gaped at the unbelievable sight. After entering the northern end cave at the end of a 3-month journey, Grid was able to witness the overwhelming sight of all types of battle gear piled up like a mountain. Wow, what is this? The names of the brilliant battle gear were in a colorful mix of green, yellow, and purple. If he took only a few of these, he would become a rich man. He wanted to take all the battle gear, but it was impossible. This item can't be obtained. How stingy and dirty. There were items that couldn't be acquired despite them being right in front of him. When Grid put it in his bag, it would return to its original spot like a mirage. This situation was like that of a pie in the sky or a woman who was already married. No, a married woman was still different from a pie in the sky, as one could still obtain a married woman if one tried hard enough. In the end, Grid could only stare at the items with longing and regret. Indeed, if a user could obtain all of these, Satisfy's economic balance might crumble. Unfortunately, I understand. In the first place, he didn't come here for the battle gear. Grid soothed his mind and turned his attention away from the pile of battle gear. There was an old book placed on a shiny gold table. Finally, all the hardships he experienced while coming here passed through his mind. Laughter emerged from his mouth as his nose became runny and tears dripped down from his eyes. Thankfully, Grid had patience and tenacity. Otherwise, he would have quit the game because of the terrible difficulty of the quest. He felt great pride at the thought of clearing this quest. "Kukuka, Pohahat, I finally found it. Oh, yeah." It was a damn-ass great quest that was impossible to give up. Incidentally, how many deaths had he experienced on this solo quest? How many items had been destroyed due to having no more durability? Pagma, a human blacksmith who transcended the skills of a dwarf, had achieved the culmination of godlike techniques. The face of Earl Ashur, who made Grid visit one of the Eternal Kingdom's 5 forbidden zones, popped into Grid's head. If I bring this to him, can I get the Sun's sword? Once I get it, no one can match me for the rest of my life. You bastards, I will make you pay for hitting me. Pleasure surged like a tide as Grid picked up the book. You have acquired the legendary craftsman's rare book. It isn't in the proper state. You can check the details using the Eye of Palalian. Do you want to use the Eye of Palalian? Eye of Palalian? A high-end appraisal item is needed to check the item? Eye of Palalian was the most expensive among the existing appraisal items. 6 months ago, Grid had bought it just in case he got a jackpot. Sadly, he couldn't use it, and it was left in his inventory. I don't want to miss a golden opportunity. Grid put the appraisal on hold and examined the golden table. He wondered if there was a way to take this gold away, but it wouldn't budge. Kicking, pulling, and even biting it was useless. Like the battle gear, it was an item that users couldn't own. I really can't salvage anything because of this effective system. The price of my 3 months of work is very high. He gazed at the book in his hand. I have to give Asher the item, so do I really need to use an expensive item to appraise it? Grid struggled for a moment before pulling out the Eye of Palalian. It was natural to wonder about the source of his 3 months of suffering. Appraisal. Pagma's rare book. Rating. Legendary. This is a book that contains the techniques of Pagma, the blacksmith who transcended human limits. The person who opens the book can become a legendary blacksmith. Effects. Become Pagma's successor. Conditions. None. Asterisk. The level and stats will change when used. A legendary item has been found. Reputation will rise by 500 across the continent. Grid's body started trembling. Whoa, jackpot. This was a legendary item. Grid's reputation rose by 500 across the continent just because he discovered it. It was an amazing harvest, given that it was difficult for a player to raise their reputation by 100 just in one city. Reputation is reputation, but Grid wondered if he had seen it wrongly, so he read the item description again. However, there was no change in the contents. Jack, pot. He wasn't hallucinating. Grid was extremely excited and could hear his heart beating wildly. He had thought it was just a skill book, but it was actually for a class change. Furthermore, it was legendary grade. This meant it was the strongest class in the world. Moreover, there is no condition to use it. Tears flowed down from his eyes. During the past year, he had to pay the interest on his loan and the fee for his Satisfy account, and he also took a leave of absence from school. His friends left him one by one. The alumni of his school laughed at him. People thought he was lazy. His original plan was to sell the items he gained during the game and turn it into cash so that he could pay off his loan, account, and tuition. Nevertheless, Satisfy wasn't such a fair world. It was hard to earn money, and he could barely obtain equipment for himself, let alone ones he could sell point. However, it was different now. A thrill went through his body as he shivered. It is over. I can say farewell to this nightmarish life. 0. This was a legendary class change item. If he registered it as an auction item on the item trading site, it was clear that the transaction price would be worth tens of millions of 1.0. No, it was an item that gave the best class among 2 billion users. So would it only be worth tens of millions of won? Grid could be sure that it was worth at least hundreds of millions of won. He might be able to get his hands on an astronomical amount that he never even imagined. 0. Puhahahahat. Mother, father, this freeloader finally made it. Now it's time to leave the game and forget about finding employment. My parents can quit feeling ashamed of their son in front of the neighbors. Sahi, Appa finally did it. Now you don't have to be embarrassed every time you meet me on the street. When my friends want to come and play at my house, I don't have to refuse and make all sorts of excuses. And my friends, alumni, they can't ignore me anymore as a pathetic game loser. I will become a success with a game. I have taken a few steps ahead of you guys in society. Puhahahat. 0. He had paid 10 million won to purchase the capsule, and his loan interest rose by hundreds of thousands of won every month. Ahung is still pretty. 0. He imagined attending his high school alumni meeting for the first time in 2 years in a foreign car. The successful alumni wouldn't be able to ignore him anymore. Then he blushed as the face of his first love, Ayong, came to mind. Okay, let's go and sell it. 0. Quest? Grid didn't care about that right now. Obviously, while the reward was a weapon that belonged to the epic rating, it was nothing in comparison to the price of this book. His affinity with Earl Asher would fall, and it would probably end up with him not receiving any more quests from him. Despite this, there was no reason to be afraid when there were hundreds of millions of won in front of him. Point oh, log out, he exclaimed confidently. Point oh. Then a notification window flashed in front of his eyes. Point oh, you can't log out of the game here. 0. Earl Ashur has appeared. 0, 0. While Grid was struggling to understand what was going on, dozens of knights jumped into the cave. Then the familiar Earl Asher appeared. Grid panicked when Earl Asher found him. Point oh. The Earl's expression became distorted. Foolish traveler, you all have the same greed. 0. The quest, Earl Asher's secret request, has changed to Earl Asher's anger. 0. Earl Asher's anger. 0. Difficulty level SS. 0. Earl Asher chose you due to your average abilities, your stupidity, and because you are easy to exploit. He entrusted you with the task of finding Pagma's rare book that he wasn't even sure existed. Point oh. He put a watcher on you and came urgently as soon as he heard that you entered the northern end cave. Earl Asher has witnessed you become blinded by greed over Pagma's rare book and has no intention of forgiving you. He intends to kill you and take away Pagma's rare book. Point oh. Asterisk affinity with Earl Asher has fallen by 100.0 asterisk due to your actions. All of the fame you have built in Patreon has disappeared, and you have now become infamous. The affinity of Patreon's residents has fallen by 40. They will look at you and call you a thief. Point oh. Quest clear conditions. The deaths of Earl Asher and his escort knights. Point oh. Clear reward. Obtain the title Noble Killer. 0. Asterisk Noble Killer. Intelligence minus 50.0. All nobles in the kingdom will despise and oppress you. Your jobs will be limited. The affinity of some commoners and royalty will rise. Point oh. Quest failure. Level minus 2.0. You will no longer be able to enter Patron. Point oh. Any patron soldiers will kill you on sight. 0. Patron was the starter city where Grid first created his character. Point oh. He had built up a considerable amount of reputation while completing quests in Patreon from level 1 to the present, and his affinity with the residents was at its maximum. All merchants gave him a 20% discount when he bought goods, and the goods he sold were purchased at 15% above their value. There were also residents who gave him hidden quests when he approached them. All these achievements automatically flew away the moment this quest updated. Point oh. This is shit. A curse naturally emerged from Grid's mouth. Earl Asher. No, you bastard. This goddamn bastard forced me onto a quest where I wasn't sure if I could find the item or not. If Pagma's rare book was something that didn't exist, I would have struggled for months in vain. You are the one who lied in the first place, yet you want to make me notorious in Patreon? Filthy jerk. 0. Hearing their master getting cursed at, the hot-headed knights immediately pulled out their swords. Point oh. Earl Asher restrained them and then said coldly to Grid, "You already decided to betray me before you knew you were deceived. Even so, you are still acting so proudly. 0. Is it greedy to want a reasonable reward after the hardships of my journey? My betrayal wasn't certain." Grid countered. Point oh. Earl Asher sneered at Grid's words. "Didn't I already promise to give you a reward in return? We entered into a contract, but you have trespassed against my good faith out of greed." 0. This wasn't something that Grid could handle with words. Point oh. As Grid fell mute, Earl Asher's momentum increased as he continued to chatter. "You are truly a poor man. The more I watch, the more I can feel it. But there are times when you can do extraordinary things. As I honestly did not expect you to find this cave that had disappeared from history. I will punish you for your ignorance, but as a reward for your patience, I will kill you as painlessly as possible." Chapter 2. This bastard. Grid wanted to stab his sword in Ashur's mouth right now, but it was an impossible task. The man's level was 300, and he was also a great magician who had completed his 3rd class change. Additionally, his escort knights had an average of level 180. On the other hand, Grid was only at level 73 and didn't even have a chance against the youngest knight who was serving as a bread shuttle. bread shuttle, usually used at school, where one student is picked on and or bullied to do the errands for people who are higher on the social ladder than the shuttles are. However, look at the quest clear conditions. He had to kill them. Still, even if he cleared the quest, wasn't the quest compensation garbage? My intelligence will be -50? Fuck, right now I have 30 intelligence. So won't I be an idiot if I'm at -50? And all of the kingdom's nobles will hate me? Where's my exit route? Why is there a quest like this? There was only one choice. Grid should just die. He would drop 2 levels, but he couldn't succeed anyway. Besides, what was the point of succeeding with such a nasty quest? Grid was resigned. The pressure from the knights was no joke. This means I will lose 8 levels just from this quest. Asher, one day I will reach a high level and get my revenge. Definitely. Greed stared at Ashur and vowed to seek revenge. He looked at the menacing swords in the knight's hands and then closed his eyes. Then, suddenly, Greed remembered Pagma's book in his hand. Wait, what about this? Would it remain in Greed's inventory after he died if he put it in there before his death? This wasn't a general quest item, so he couldn't be certain of the situation. What was Ashur's purpose in the first place? Pagma's rare book. The reason he wanted to kill Grid was to take the book away. In order for the story to go smoothly, if Earl Ashur killed Grid, it was likely that Pagma's book would disappear from Grid's inventory and fall into the Earl's hands. Shit. If he was going to lose Pagma's book anyway, he might as well use it instead of selling. A new option emerged. Grid could use Pagma's rare book. However, he hesitated. He hated production-related classes. Wasn't the point of a game to enjoy the thrill of battle? Yet, if he became a blacksmith, he would have to sweat as he hammered at iron in front of a fire. It might even be necessary to carry pickaxes while searching for mines to collect the necessary materials. It was indeed. Labor. At that moment, a chill went down Grid's spine. He was doing brick and shovel work at construction sites in real life, and now he needed to do labor in the game as well. Just imagining it made him feel terribly dizzy. Quack. Grid wanted to remain as a warrior. It was his dream to swing his sword at enemies and someday become an army general. Nonetheless, it was now time to give up on that dream. Otherwise, an item worth hundreds of millions of won would be taken away by an NPC, that bastard Asher. It's better to use it than to lose it to him. Grid tearfully opened Pagma's book. The shocked Asher hurriedly stretched out a hand and chanted a spell. It's too late, you jerk. Grid ridiculed the Earl before falling silent while checking the notification windows appearing one by one. You have become Pagma's successor. Your level has dropped. You are now level 1. All skills and stats have been reset. Die and die. Grid couldn't believe his eyes. Weren't class changes supposed to help you get stronger by strengthening your existing level, stats, and skills? Therefore, he couldn't understand why his level, stats, and skills were reset instead of maintained. What is this? While he was confused by the unknown situation, new notification windows emerged. Dexterity stat has opened. Blacksmith's craftsmanship skill has been created. Blacksmith craftsmanship skill has been mastered. Blacksmith appraisal skill has been created. Blacksmith's appraisal skill has been mastered. Blacksmith's patience has been created. Blacksmith's patience has been mastered. Blacksmith's disassembly skill has been created. Blacksmith's disassembly skill has been mastered. Blacksmith's repair skill has been created. Blacksmith's repair skill has been mastered. All blacksmith skills have been mastered to the level of the pinnacle, and the skills of the legendary blacksmith have been opened. The legendary blacksmith's craftsmanship skill has been created. The legendary blacksmith's discernment skill has been created. The legendary blacksmith's appraisal skill has been created. The legendary blacksmith's patience skill has been created. The legendary blacksmith's repair skill has been created. The legendary blacksmith's disassembly skill has been created. The legendary blacksmith's breath skill has been created. The legendary blacksmith's blessing skill has been created. The legendary blacksmith's creation skill has been created. Title, One Who Became a Legend, has been acquired. Composure stat has opened. Indomitable stat has opened. Dignity stat has opened. Insight stat has opened. In the case of dexterity, it was a basic stat possessed by all users with a production-related class. However, the composure, indomitable, dignity, and insight stats were all unfamiliar. Was this a good thing? Not good. Grid was desperate. There were 15 passive skills and 22 active skills that he had learned as a warrior. However, he completely lost all his abilities as a warrior. Due to the effect of the class change, he had completely become a laborer. Furthermore, he was level 1. The levels that he barely built up over the past year had been completely reset, and he now needed to start over. He had to restart the damn level up grind from the beginning? Why is there a quest like this? Fuck at tilde number at dollar at circumflex percent dollar. Grid combines several Korean curses together as a knight's sword rapidly headed toward him. You have been hit by a blow. You have died. The level 1's low health dropped to 0 with a single hit from a level 180 knight. Quest failed. You will no longer be able to enter Patreon. Any patron soldiers will kill you on sight. Your level has dropped by 2. You are now level -1. There is no registered residence. Do you want to resurrect at the nearest temple? Grid saw his level and lost it. Negative? My level is negative? He was certain that he had been cursed by the gods for some fault in a previous life. Grid barely got here after 3 months of hardship, only to get this result. He didn't want to play the game anymore. So he chose to log out instead of resurrecting. Once Grid quit the game, he immediately connected to the internet and searched through all of the Satisfy related forums in Korea to look for information about a negative level. Despite that, he couldn't get any information. So he wrote his question directly on the forum. Title, I am currently level -1. Contents, I have been doing a quest for 3 months and received a legendary old book. However, I failed, and my level strangely dropped to -1. Why? Has this ever happened before? He pressed the OK button to post and completely emerged from the capsule. A quick glance in the mirror revealed someone who looked like an emaciated patient with an incurable disease. It was the aftermath of not sleeping for 3 months while doing the quest. Yet, the only thing Shin Young-woo received in return was a loss of hundreds of millions of won and a level in the negative. My 3 months of work have gone flying away. 3 months of hard work. Ha ha ha. He could have gone and taken up some hard labor jobs, but he ended up shoveling air. No, it was a loss of time and level. Shin Young-woo lost his energy and flopped to the ground. He was sad, empty, grumpy, and resentful. All types of negative emotions were pouring in, giving him a tremendous sense of helplessness. If he were a weaker person, he was sure that he would have committed suicide. I need to take a shit. Shin Young-woo had been connected to the game for a long time, so he headed to the bathroom after receiving a physiological signal. It was 3 in the morning. All his family members were sleeping. If he woke up his parents, they might curse at him. He stealthily crossed the living room, quietly did his business in the bathroom, and washed up. Then he moved back to the kitchen and took out a side dish from the fridge. After barely managing to find a spoon in the darkness, he returned to his room with a bowl of rice. Oh, it's sausage fried rice. It was the taste of a meat processed product. As he ate the delicious food and filled up his stomach, he relaxed and began to think soberly. How did my level become negative? Shin Young-woo thought about it before sitting in the capsule to check the question he posted on the internet. What? In the meantime, the number of views on his posts had gone over 10,000. The number of comments was more than 2,000. D? Don't tell me? He couldn't find the information, but was the negative level actually famous among users? So the users were excited because it gave tremendous benefits? Shin Young-woo's dream was destroyed when he checked the comments. Ixo ***''''''''''''''''''''*. Answer. If there is a negative level, a ghost will appear before me at night. X ******. Answer. Wow, tilde, 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 tilde. I am level -5 circumflex. We are low-level comrades. 22 asterisk asterisk answer. Did you find a legendary book as well? Do you have an attention sickness? CM3 second. Asterisk asterisk's answer. He should be brought to a mental hospital. Take this post down. -7 14 reals. Asterisk asterisk's answer. Legendary book. Negative level. These days, Li Liu Liang. Really, some people. JK12 asterisk asterisk -1's answer. Wouldn't -1 be last place in the rankings? I would quit the game. KKKS asterisk asterisk's answer. Something this unique that hasn't appeared yet. What nonsense. QCur8 asterisk asterisk's answer. Is it excessive drinking? GayT asterisk asterisk's answer. Wow. Negative level. I pay homage to your imagination. You should be a fiction writer. There were 2,000 comments like these. He felt like an idiot. It seems that information about negative levels hasn't been revealed at all. Am I the first person? Satisfy system was configured to allow users to discover and develop themselves. There was no such thing as a customer service center like in other more traditional online games. As a result, Satisfy's 2 billion users have been developing the world during the past year by pioneering and exchanging information on their own. However, in such a vast world, there was still a lot of information that hadn't been revealed, such as the negative level that Shin Yangwu was experiencing now. Swah. It was raining outside the window. According to the weather forecast, it was going to rain all day. It wouldn't be easy to get a labor job if he went out looking today. Instead, he ate the last of the rice and logged into the game again.